Welcome to GB Camper Conversion's latest van tour. This is the new shape Vauxhall Combo Life. It's the short wheelbase, and this is my wife's van. So we've kitted it out for one as a bit of a demonstrator so that people can come and view it, and two, more importantly, so she can get out and do some camping, which is what she absolutely loves doing, and she'll take the dog with her most times. We did go out this weekend on a trial run because we've made it suitable for two people, sleeping wise that is. So I'll probably do a separate video of that, but let's have a look inside. So entrance through the back door, like, you know, this is based on L-shaped conversion that we do on the Vauxhall Combo, such as this one, the Citroen Berlingo, Peugeot Rifter, and then this will go in the older models as well of the Citroen Berlingo Peugeot Partner. And the same configuration will go in Renault Kangoos, Volkswagen Caddies, and them sort of size vehicles as well, because they're all generally the same inside. So like I say, the L-shaped seating is what we've based it on, and like I say, this was built with in mind that sometimes I will go. So the bed is 900 wide. That's the maximum width that we could have got out of the bed to include the features that we've put in the storage unit. So it was 900 wide, 1800 long when it's made into the bed, which was quite tight for two of us, especially when it comes to if you're both sleeping at the same end. Obviously your shoulders are wider than your hips and where your legs taper in. So we ended up topping and tailing in the end, which was way better, a lot more room, and then it was nice and comfortable. But yeah, the basic L-shaped seating that we do, especially in the short wheelbase. Now if you get the long wheelbase, which is only available in the new model of the Vauxhall Combo, Citroen Berlingo, and then the Peugeot Rifter, you can have the bench seats running alongside each other at 1800, and that creates a nice aisle that runs all the way through the van. But this is the short wheelbase. So with this being my wife's van, she wanted every single option that you could possibly get in here to make camping life as comfortable as possible. So first of all, we've got the sink. Now, like I say, we have to bear in mind the width of the bed. So normally this sink, if we're doing an 800 wide bed, we can get the sink in there that's 320 long by 260 wide. This is the smallest sink that I can get, and this is 320 wide by 170 width. They're all 150 deep. So it's ideal for, you know, she just wants to literally wash her hands when she's prepping food, brush her teeth in the morning. You can still get cups in there to wash, and plates as well, obviously when they're stood upright like that. So it's absolutely fine for one person. You get the cold water supply, so that's on the micro switch tap. And then again, because the cupboard is quite narrow due to the width of the bed, we only get the one single fresh water container in there. She's got a few other bits and bobs in there as well, the toilet chemicals, some gas canisters, bit of toilet roll. But the waste on this one, I've put through the floor so that it comes out of the rear of the vehicle, and she collects it in another waste container, which is just here. So the waste pipe is just clipped to the underneath of the vehicle. It's solid and secure. It's just waste water at the end of the day. There's not a lot of nasty stuff that comes in there, but she can just unclip it from the clip that's holding it and just drop it into a waste container. So you can get the waste containers that have a screw off lid on the flat side as well as the one on the top. So she just lies it down and just drops it in there. Alongside that is the mains inlet. So it's got mains electric as well. We put it away from the rear wheel. Obviously, you know, when it's raining or it's a bit mucky, that's going to throw water and mud up the back. We do seal all the back of the mains inlet, and it's got a grommet on there, and it is IP rated as well. So it's nice and waterproof. So that's absolutely fine. Again, because of the new shape van, there's no room on the side of the vans to get the mains inlet that sits flush with the metalwork. So it has to go down there underneath the van. But it's well out of the way. It doesn't get caught on the floor. It's absolutely fine. We've done it plenty of times before. So back to the unit. So obviously having limited space in the storage unit, although we've made the storage unit come across this seat, obviously if the opening was here, we would never have opened the door. So the door is mounted further forwards, but you can still get round the side. So she's got a kettle in there, a little set of pots and pans, and she asked for a shelf to be put in as well. So you can get plenty of items in this bit of storage. It's probably, I would say, about 550 wide from the partition there to the end of this unit. So you can get a fair old amount of stuff in there. Then we've got some of her electrical items, where she's going to plug her appliances in. So we've got your cigarette lighter socket, your twin USB, and then a mains socket as well, all built into the unit. And again, this was another request of hers, was to have a dimmer switch. So that turns the power on, and then you've got the rotary dial to dim the lights up and down, which was quite nice actually when we was away and the light was sort of drawing to an end. You can sort of start ramping up the light so that it gets a bit brighter, and then of course when it gets quite dark, you can just dim that nice light down to a reasonable sort of glow. So that was quite nice. On the end of this unit, she's got a lift up table, and that just sits on the end of the unit, and you just literally lift it up, wait for the click, and it's just a little bit of extra work surface. So this work surface is plenty big enough for her to get a portable gas stove on, and then she can just pop her plate or cup on this side, but it's there if she needs to use it. Also in this little area, what we've got, that is a waterproof cover. So her toilet lives there. That is a Thetford porta potty 335. So it's the smallest one that we can get. And the idea is, and again, we used it quite successfully over the weekend with two of us here in the middle of the night as well. Because these two seats are pushed all the way forward so the bed can be made, your feet sit in what would be the original footwell for the rear passengers, and then you're sat at a reasonable height to just use the toilet. Now, there's two ways of using it. You can either go out the back door, come round to the side loading door, open it, and just get in and use it there. What we were actually doing was, I mean, it wasn't too much of a hassle, was to just, because like I say, these seats are already pushed forward, so there's quite a big gap there, was to just angle yourself on the edge of the bed and just drop your feet down, jump on the toilet, do your business. It's for number ones only though. And yeah, that was absolutely fine. Obviously when you put your chemical in there, it takes away all the nasty whiffs and smells, so you don't smell any of that during the night either. And the idea with the cover is that she does have a drive-away awning as well, that if she just zips off during the daytime, if she's out camping, the toilet with its cover on will just go and live in the awning, so it's out of the way. Clears a bit of space for any goodies she might buy while she's out shopping. So let's move on to the more, or some more storage rather, that she's got in the back of here. So these are becoming quite popular now with most of the micro camper conversions that we do, and that's the window storage boxes. Again, there was requests that she wanted a shelf in, which we did stop doing because I was finding that the space, once you've got that shelf in there, you're limited to what you can put in there. But she found it quite useful. And of course, I'm not going to argue with the boss anyway. She wanted a little shelf in there, which again worked out quite well. So you can get plenty of stuff in. The one over this side, there was another request, and that was for a bigger shelf, so that it was quite a lot deeper. So as you can see, she's put little trays in there. She's got her tea, coffee, sugar, salt and pepper pots there. She's got knives and forks, some cutlery, hand wash. Cigarette lighter. She best not be smoking. No, that's for the she uses the josh sticks and that kind of thing just to keep the flies away, because the dog likes to chase them. Yeah, but the window storage boxes are becoming very, very popular, you know, in everything that we seem to do. And I will say that bit of extra storage that you get, obviously we've taken up a fair bit, or almost half the unit with the water container. So to have that is absolutely ideal, because it's just normally just wasted space anyway. Yeah, and then attached to the one on the driver's side, we put the table rail, and this is where the table lives on this one. So it's just clipped under the unit. You can get to it when the door's down. It just gives you that extra little bit of work surface. So we just turn the turnbuckle up and out of the way. The legs, a pivoting leg, pressing the button. Those two clip on there. Adjust the height of your leg. And you've got that little bit of extra work surface. I mean, for one person, they're absolutely ideal. You know, you've got plenty of room. Again, because of the size of the beds that we made on this one, we've got quite a wider aisle, so you can sit quite comfortably. You know, with the seats pushed all the way back like they are, you know, you get a bit of a decent rate using these as backrests as well. You know, you can just sit here and lounge about. You've got the door open, the fresh air is coming in. Yeah, so they're absolutely ideal for one person. And just talking about fresh air, she's also brought this USB powered fan. You know, if it does get a bit too warm, she can just plug it into a USB. And again, this is the beauty of having the twin USBs. Whilst you've got something plugged in, maybe the top or the bottom, you've got the other one free to charge your phone or a tablet or whatever. Yeah, and that just turns on from a button at the back. So it's 3 speeds. It's not very powerful, but you know, it does the job. It keeps you nice and cool when it's quite warm. So again, that was just handy. And she's got it just clipped on where the original seatbelt used to go, and that travels there, and it's absolutely fine. It's quite a sturdy crocodile clip, and I believe that was from Amazon, I think. So she's got everything in here: lights in the ceiling, sink. She's got a cooker, so storage pocket, which we put on the seat side. It doesn't get in the way when you're sitting there. It doesn't get in the way when you've got the bed up. But you can quite simply just pull it out, and like I say, it fits just nicely on top of the worktop there. So you've got everything within sort of reaching distance to make your camping trip comfortable. So there's a couple of other features that she's had fitted, and this is electrically wise and in terms of equipment. Let's run through some of them. The other piece of equipment that she's got now on board is a compressor cool box. So she went for the Alpicool C12. So it's a 12-litre cool box. It works on 240 volts and 12 volts. it lives in the passenger seat whilst she's traveling, and we can turn it on. And because the DC to DC charger will be charging the leisure battery while she's driving, we can add that on and it'll get her stuff cold on a journey. But what we've done now, instead of having this lead trailing across the unit and into the cigarette lighter socket that's built into the unit, what we now do, and this is because of how we build the floor up. So we put a ply floor in. We take all the original flooring out. We sound deaden and insulate underneath, and then we put a ply floor, 12mm ply, so it's quite sturdy, but we brace it anyway. And we get a bit of a ledge at the bottom, at the very end of the floor. And what we're about to show you now is where the cool box is now plugged in. And that's just straight down there. So you can, this lead now just travels in between the seats. Again, when you get to your destination, you can just leave it plugged in there, and then it frees up your cigarette lighter socket in the back. So we thought that was quite a good idea, and I think so do the last couple of customers, because they've all asked for it to be fitted on the conversions that we're doing now. So yeah, that goes directly to the leisure battery. So it's obviously there's a fuse in line with it, but I just thought it was a good idea to have it discreetly out the way that you can use your cool box there, because it's otherwise, where do we now put the cool box? We are limited for space because it's a short wheelbase vehicle, but it lives there absolutely fine. Obviously, when we're traveling together, that will come and sit in the aisle and be plugged into that one when we're traveling. When we get to the destination, we're no longer using the front seats. It'll just go back on there and plug into that socket at the end of that floor. So that was a nice, new, fresh idea. The next thing that we're going to show you is what electrics she had installed in terms of being off-grid and on campsites. So we fitted the biggest solar panel that we could get to the roof, and I know we've got a crossbar going across the top, but it doesn't make any difference at all. That's going through a Victron solar controller, so she can look at it via the Bluetooth app and see what the battery's at, whether it's charging, whether it needs charging, you know, and the draw of the current and so forth. And we thought that was quite crucial, especially seems as she wants to do a lot of wild camping. So having that cool box on permanently, the solar panel was a bit of a must, really, to keep on putting something back into that leisure battery while she's taking something out. We also upgraded the battery as well, so it's not the lead acid, it's an AGM. So it discharges slightly less than the lead acid, and it comes up a little bit quicker on recharge as well. There's not a lot of difference in price, but again, for the sake of what it was, we put the AGM in there for her. So like I say, it's got a DC to DC charger. It's a 20 amp charger, and that goes direct to the leisure battery. You've got the solar to charge the battery as well, and then we've got the mains electric. So with our mains electric, you get the consumer unit. So that's got your, it's RCD protected, and it's double pole. So I specified that it's double pole because it'll break your live and your neutral, which when you're using stuff outdoors, because this is outdoors, a live and neutral double pole breaker is quite advisable. So the breakers are double pole, the RCD is double pole, and then we put in a mains charger transformer. So that will also charge the leisure battery when she's on site electrics, just to go through the cycle of keep that battery nice and topped up. But she intends to go away for 3, 4, 5 days with that cool box running. You've got the power to the tap, you've got the lighting, she's going to charge her phone and tablet through the USB. That's more than enough. The 130 watt panel going through the Victron solar controller into her AGM battery is fine. Like I say, we went away at the weekend, no hookup at all. It was on for 2 or 3 days. Didn't even start to touch the battery. So that was all good. So that's in terms of electric that she's got fitted. There's another couple of items that she requested just to make her camping life that much better, which we're going to have a look at now. Like I mentioned, we have a dog and she also loves camping. So we take the dog with us pretty much wherever we go. And we feel ourselves that our dog needs to be secured when we're traveling. So of course we've taken all the back seats out of this. There was nowhere for her to sit and nowhere to secure her. So what I've done is, off the original anchor points of where the original seat belt sat on the floor, I've put a long stalked seat belt in there that we clip her harness into. And what we do is we lay the bed down flat, drop this cushion down the back. So with a harness in there, the bed out as it is, there's nowhere for her to go. She can't go far, but she's got a comfortable journey the same as everybody else. We just like to secure our dog. I would hate, you know, if we were to be involved in, you know, any kind of accident and the dog was thrown all over the place. So we like to keep her secure in a seatbelt. And then I've left the 2 lashing eyes at the back of the van as well, so that when we get to site, we can just clip her lead onto that side or onto this side, and, you know, she can go and roam around as long as the lead will let her, so that she gets to enjoy the outdoors just as much as what we do. But we know she's not going to run off anywhere. Couple more items just to finish off then on this particular one, and we're going to start with the curtains. Now, being a converter, I sometimes end up with various bits of stock that are no good for anything. And this is what has happened here. So I don't normally put curtains on these side windows. We normally recommend that you get the thermal screens, the suckers that stick on the window. But because I had a set of rails knocking around for one particular vehicle, because I'd used the curtains off it, and then I had a set of curtains off another set but no rails, I decided to make use of them as well. So I ended up fitting a rail. This is attached to the door, not there, because what you'll find again is that with this being the new model and it having seats at the back, the airbag still runs up there. So we do not screw into that at all with any curtain rail, because if the airbag goes off, it'll just throw it off and you'll end up with screws in your face. So this is attached to the door itself. And then the lower rail, I'll show you over this side because you can see it clearer, is screwed to the plastic. Now, there's nothing behind there because it hasn't got electric windows. There's no winder to wind the window down because they are the pivoting open windows that way. So it was quite safe to screw into there. You've got your tie backs and they fit an absolute treat. So again, like I say, we was away. These curtains blocked out every bit of light coming in. And because they've got the black back, so you can reverse these curtains if you wanted to and have the black on the inside, but because of the theme of the colour, we stuck with the grey on the inside. And then the same over on the passenger side. Now, normally I'll fit the partition curtains across the back door and above the cab, like I've done here anyway. So this is just one of the normal partition curtains that we fit. And again, these seats will be pushed forwards and they just literally come across, meet each other in the middle. So you get a nice bit of privacy. Now, the back door is the same scenario that I come up against when I had some curtains knocking around. Yeah, so the curtains on the back door, again, I had 2 long rails just in stock that I had from a set that I brought and a spare set of short curtains. So these work in the same way as the side loading door. We attach them to the plastic and then to the actual metal of the van, and they just pull across. They've got the press studs on the side, and they both meet in the middle. Are you filming me or are you filming the rain? He's now getting wet. But that was the curtains for the back door, and then just inside again, which is a standard feature that we do, is the push button so that you can get out of the van from the inside. We've got one more piece of equipment that we fitted to this van, again upon request. There were a lot of requests I found with this particular build, but you know, I like to keep my wife happy, so I fulfilled it, and we're going to jump onto that in a second. We're just going to wait for the rain to die down slightly and we'll show you what that is. So the rain finally stopped. There's a grey cloud just passing over that way now. We've got a little bit of blue sky. We just thought I'd show you the last piece of equipment that we fitted for her. So I'd already put the roof rails on, running front to back, and then what I purchased was the crossbars. So they were just a cheap set that were claiming to be sort of aerodynamic, and you could fit various things to the roof bars, roof boxes, cycle carriers, that kind of thing. So they were absolutely fine. And then she wanted a sun canopy. So I've seen various ones, and I will end up getting another one to compare it to this one. So you've got the Tough Trek, which I believe at this sort of point of recording, it was about £205, maybe 210, I'm not too sure, but I know it was definitely over £200. And it's the same dimensions as this, so 4'6" wide, extends out 6'6" long. You get an aluminium base for it to sit on. It attaches to the roof crossbars in exactly the same fashion. But we found this. Now, this was either going to be a big failure or it was going to do its job. So on time of recording now, this one was $89.99, so it's half price. Now, I normally am one of those sticklers that when it comes to you get what you pay for, but I was willing to take a chance on this. I'd seen a couple of reviews where it looked okay, and then I'd read some pretty horrible reviews saying that it all fell apart and it was hard to put together. I think these people were on about another one though, because this come as it is. As you can see it now, that's how it got delivered. In the bag, all you had to do was mount it to the crossbars. So I've mounted it in a different way to what they recommend. You get an L bracket that fits on the back of the awning, where you've got the two bolts. So there's a channel in the back of the awning. There's two channels. You slide the bolts down there and then you fit the L bracket. And then this L bracket, you're meant to drill through your crossbars. Well, I didn't really fancy doing that. And then you put the spreader plate that's here underneath so that it acts as a clamp. And what I've done is I know some people that sell two-lay equipment, and those plastic handles that you can see are the quick release handles for the two-lay cycle carriers. So what I did was I got some T-bolts. So it's a square piece of steel with a thread welded to it, and they slide into the channel of the crossbars. I then put the quick release handles on, so these literally lift up. I've done them quite tight, so I probably can't lift it up. I can if I use two hands. No, I can't. I'd need to get up there, but that's how tight they're on. But they're fine. So it's got four of those handles on to make it quick release. So you lift that handle up, you spin the plastic off, and you can just take the awning off and leave all the bracketry there, rather than drilling in. Now, we travel to Barmouth, so from here it's a 3-hour journey. Well, I'm back from Barmouth and it's still on the roof, so it was absolutely fine. And like anything, I suppose you do get a little bit of wind noise because obviously the wind's coming at you like this, so you get a little bit of drag on it there as well, but hardly noticeable at all. So I've put the zips at the back, just so that, again, because we're travelling in that direction and the wind's going to blow it, I don't want them that way and then it to open. Although the canopy won't fall out because it's strapped up there, but I just want to show you what you get for your money. So I've done a separate video on this, which we'll probably add at some point, and show you how easy it was to put up and what you really got. But I just want to show you anyway. So you just peel that back. And then we've got our two straps that are holding the awning in place. Just release those two. That'll release the canvas. We're going to unravel it this way. You know, I mean, it's good quality material so far. Like I say, we used it when we went away to Barmouth. I can't compare it to the Tough Trek one because I haven't physically opened a Tough Trek one to compare it to. But what I'm saying is, for £90, it's not that bad. You know, it's got a nice aluminium finish, so it's not going to get rusty. It's got stainless steel bolts in the end. The legs are built in to the end piece, so they pivot out. Let me move out of the way. They pivot out. And they're going to sit on the floor. So they are on retractable legs. And all you do is literally twist the leg and release it out. So we'll have to do it in stages, I suppose, because I'm doing it on my own. So when you've got your legs to a suitable length, I sort of angling them in slightly just so that it doesn't tip over. I've got to hope that the wind doesn't get up as well. And then what we're going to do is, the channel that's left inside the van there now are the aluminium supports. So they've got like a spiked end on. You're just going to literally pull that one out. Make sure your black tabs of Velcro are undone. Again, you twist the leg, extend it out. It's going to meet that one in a second. Pull the other one out as well. Make sure your Velcro's undone. And that's going to go. So we've got two holes there. It's just going to go through them both. Extend that out quite a bit. Lock that one on. Then we can get the second one in. And then again, extend that so it becomes nice and tight. This is just a basic demonstration. And then you put your Velcro ties around everything. You get guy ropes as well. So, you know, we're on a bit of an uneven surface there. But you get the general idea. And that was just a nice canopy. So all the Velcro straps keep the material strapped to the poles. They're all aluminium, lightweight. And it was just a nice little bit of shade, if you like, for when the sun come out. First thing in the morning, when you've got your kettle on, you can sit out of the way of the sun. I mean, I suppose even if it's raining, you can put it out as well, which I think it's about to any minute. So we're going to put it away. But yeah, for 90 quid, I can't see anything wrong with it. We've used it a couple of times and it seems to be absolutely fine. So I thought a nice little addition. I will try and get a Tough Trek one and do a comparison on it. But obviously to fit this, You need the roof rails and you'll need the crossbars as well. I think in total, the roof rails themselves were about £60, and then the crossbars were another £60. So that was what, 120, and then £90. We only that's £210. That's £210. We're not far off just the Tough Trek awning on its own. That's without any roof rails and crossbars. But yeah, really pleased with how that's worked out, and so is my wife. So that's the main thing. She's happy, I'm happy. She's back out on her travels again next week. Booked in for a week down by the beach, taking the dog, so I can crack on and get some more conversions done. But thanks for watching this one. We are GB Camper Conversions, based in Tamworth. We've got a website for inquiries. That is www.gbcamperconversions.com. You can go on there, browse our gallery. There's a contact form. You can get in contact with us. Enjoy camping, because it's great fun, getting in the outdoors. And thanks for watching.